The information provided on this podcast is for general informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your qualified health provider with any questions you may have. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard on this podcast. Reliance on any information provided here is solely at your own risk.
Welcome. This is Birth, Baby. Your hosts are Sierra Morgan and Samantha Kelly. Sierra is a birth doula, hypnobirthing educator, and pediatric sleep consultant.
Samantha is a birth doula, childbirth educator, and lactation counselor. Join us as we guide you through your options for your pregnancy, birth, and postpartum journey. Thank you to our listeners for your continued support. If you enjoy our content, please be sure to like, follow, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. This helps us gain visibility to other people that could benefit from listening in. Hello, everyone. We are still in this registry series, Building Your Registry. And today the topic is strollers. So at Wagons, we'll do a little bit of wagons. So Samantha, you're building your registry and you're researching all about strollers and wagons. And I remember you being like, there's this wagon that I want. So I know that that one's on your list too. So let's talk a little bit about what kind of strollers are out there. What are the options?
So when we're talking about strollers, there's like a million different options out there. So there's going to be like your typical travel system, which is what a lot of people, when they're pregnant with their first baby, they're probably registering for some sort of travel system. So this would be like the car seat and the stroller, and the car seat will click directly into the stroller. And then it might have like an additional seat that you can put there, like the toddler seat that you can put there as well for when the baby gets a little bit bigger. And they all work together really well. Like they're specifically designed to work in that system. So you're going to have those for all of the different brands, Up a Baby, Chico, Great Go, whatever else is out there. Those are most of the ones that we see being used all the time. But those are kind of like the travel systems. And then you're going to have more of like your jogging strollers. So these are going to be other brands like the City Select strollers and City Go strollers are really popular jogging stroller brands. There's a lot of different ones out there. These are going to be like 3-wheel strollers. Most of the time, they're going to have like more rubber wheels rather than plastic wheels, and they're going to be designed for people to go running with. And where we live in Central Texas, Austin area, those are really popular because a lot of people love to take their littles running, which you will not find me doing that, but
no, me either. Unless my kid's running into the street.
That's exactly right. That's right. But my husband will be taking little one for jogs because that sounds like a great break for me. So jogging strollers are an option. And then there's like lightweight strollers, like the umbrella ones. These are like the ones that you see like hanging on a rack at Walmart, and they're like $15. I still have one of these hanging in my garage because I used this forever. These are really great for travel. They're super great for older kids. As they're getting into like more of the toddler ages. They're not really great for babies because the straps are very easy for these little ones to slip out of or just toss off and run off. So they're not a super great baby stroller, but they're great for toddlers, especially when you're trying to have something lightweight and easy to travel with.
Lightweight is huge.
Yeah. And then one of my favorite strollers is the convertible strollers. I think these are really, really cool. They have these like convertible strollers that'll go from a single stroller to a double stroller. So when you start out with like maybe you're expecting your first baby, but you know you're going to want more in the future. So maybe you want to get one of these single to double strollers where you can do all the same things. They have, as the travel systems, they'll have like connections for each different kind of car seat. They'll have the other seats that you can add in, and then they can extend and you can have 2 seats on there. Or
this is all brand new information to me.
It's so cool.
I had no idea this existed.
Oh, I love them. I had one of those when my kids were little, and I used this all through. They were amazing. I felt like they moved a lot better than like the travel system strollers. And they have like all these cool attachments. Like if I wanted to, I could still be using that with my older kids and this baby coming, because they have like the boards. Like if you've ever seen like
those are cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
like they can
standing like a
stand on the back
scooter
like
sort
it's
of
a
thing.
scooter. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a million different options for those. I am a big fan of those, especially if you know that you are planning on growing your family. Price tag is definitely a little bit higher. So there's, a lot of different things to consider um, when you're thinking about what kind of stroller you want to register for, what kind you want to start off with. One, like I said, are you planning to have more kids? So then maybe you want to think about one of those convertible. The ones that I see most often are the City Select is a great convertible one. The Vista is a convertible one. And then one that I've seen more recently that wasn't around when my kids were little is the Mockingbird. And I think it's very, very similar, and maybe a little bit less on the price point. So those are
Yeah.
some good
And
options.
one of the things that I had when my son was little, and he's 7.5 at the time of recording, I had like the skeleton stroller. Like basically
Yeah.
there you can't use it without a car seat, but it's
Hmm.
literally just like almost like a shopping cart that you click
Hmm.
your kiddo onto because I didn't really honestly need one with my son. I don't even know if I barely ever used that stroller because we had no sidewalks in our neighborhood. Like I'm not going to
Hmm.
the mall and walking around. There were almost no situations. It would maybe be for him to like sit and watch sis, at a cheer thing or something,
Yeah.
just a container, which I could have just brought a chair. So those little skeleton kind of strollers are kind of neat too.
Yeah, those are really cool. A lot of like the travel systems and the convertible strollers will do that skeleton thing. So you don't have to have the big bulky seat attached to it too.
Crazy.
And it's just a lot more lightweight. And they also fold super, super, super slim, which is great
Hmm.
for when you're trying to fit a bunch of junk in the back of your car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then there's like that bassinet thing. So some of these,
Hmm.
I see people rolling around their baby and like it looks like you're literally just rolling around a bassinet. But then some
Yeah.
of those convert, like you were saying, into a regular car stroller as well. So it's funny
Yeah.
because there are all of these different kinds that like, okay, well, do I want a jogging stroller? Because my jogging stroller is not going to be the same as if I'm just having one of the ones that the car seat clicks into and we can use later or whatever. You could always use a jogging stroller, but they are more
Hmm.
bulky. So some people want like 3 or 4 strollers, which sounds crazy and it feels crazy, especially if you don't have a garage and you're like in the middle of the city or something like that.
Yeah.
Like with my daughter, I used my stroller all the time. There were a bunch of little
Hmm.
kids in the neighborhood, and all of us moms had babies that were within a year apart. And we all would go on a walk in the morning or the evening. And so it got so much use out of it. And then I
Hmm.
thought that I would with my son 7 years later. Well, of course, I need a good stroller. And then it was practically brand new when I sold it because I almost never used it. So,
Yeah.
your lifestyle is definitely something to consider. Do you live downtown where you're going to go run around the lake in downtown Austin or wherever you live?
Hmm.
And that jogging stroller is going to be clutch, and that's what you're going to use the majority of the time. Or are you going to be somebody who lives, in a place that there's not a whole lot to do outside and what you might
Yeah.
use it at the mall if you have an indoor mall, if those exist anymore, hardly.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think too, thinking about like how, where are you going to be storing it? Like, how slim is it going to fold down to? Some of these fold down so they're like super thin. You can put them in the back of your car and then still get a full load of groceries and maybe some baseball stuff back there too. And then there's others that are just really, really bulky when you're folding them down. And so if you were like trying to keep it in your coat closet, it may not fit in there. So
Mhm.
definitely thinking about those sort of things, I think is going to be really important when it comes to strollers. I'm one of those people. When I had my second, I had a million different strollers because I was nannying at the time. I had extra kids with me, and so when I had just one kid, I would use this stroller. When I was doing that, I would use that stroller. Sometimes we'd be on like bumpy terrain, so I'd want the stroller with the big wheels, but that one doesn't fit in my car as well. So it was like
Yeah.
a whole thing.
That's something to
Um,
think about too. We have
yeah.
clients that live, downtown and don't have cars. And we
Hmm.
have people that take the public bus system. I'm thinking of one couple in particular came like 40
Yeah.
minutes to see us at an event that we had, and we learned while we were there that they still didn't have a car, and this was by choice. They could afford a car, they just didn't want one. They
Yeah.
moved here from Australia, and they're like, we never used one there. We just don't really want a car, but they sometimes have to take an Uber. And
Mhm.
you have to make sure that Uber is big enough and has a trunk big enough to fit your stroller if that is something you're doing, or think about when you're traveling to the airport. Or
Mhm.
are you hopping on the public bus system, like the fold down? Is there storage on there for you to
Yeah.
do that? So even if you don't have a car or don't think you're going to need to think about these things, keep these things in mind because they could end up becoming cumbersome.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other option that we have is wagons. I think wagons are getting a lot more popular. Like it really wasn't a thing as much when I had my kids. Like a wagon was like the radio flyer, like either the giant chunky plastic one or like the really like cheapy fabric one, which I still have in my garage and I used to haul baseball stuff now. But now they have these like stroller wagons that are really, really cool. And I discovered them when my daughter was like 3 years old, and I couldn't talk myself into spending the money on it, knowing that they were about to outgrow it. But now that I have number three coming, I'm 100% getting one of these wagons because they're just the coolest thing. So I think what some of the really cool ways that you can use them is like with older babies and toddlers. If you have multiple kids, like with me, the wagon that I'm looking at, I can fit all three of my children into this wagon if I wanted to. My 8 year old, my 6 year old, and my newborn. And that is, or, in the spring when I have all of those things. And so like that's really cool, especially if I'm going to be like walking around the zoo or going to some of these like places where they're just going to get tired of walking and they're going to want to sit for a little bit. Or for my family, it's all about sports. We live at the baseball fields. And so being able to have a wagon that I can haul my stuff in, and then I can also put the baby in either at the same time because they have attachments where the baby can sit like in one of those little bassinet things on top, and then all of my stuff can be underneath it.
Amazing.
Or, I can put stuff in there and then put the baby in there when I take the stuff out. So for me, that's going to be really big. There's a lot of different like features to think about with these wagons. Some of them have those like all-terrain wheels. Some of them have canopies that are built into it, or like mosquito nets that are you can just put over the top of it, or rain things, whatever. You can get different seating for them. You can have, 2 seats or 4 seats. I've even seen some that are like six. You can fit 6 children in this thing. I don't know who has 6 children that they're wanting to haul around in a
That they
wagon. I
can
certainly don't.
wrangle into a wagon.
Right, exactly. Exactly. But there's a lot of different things to consider with those. I think they're really cool options. They can get super pricey though when we're talking
Yeah.
about these. I mean, honestly, even the regular strollers can get super, super pricey. So
Yeah.
you can get creative with how you're looking for those. We've talked a lot about how you can go find things secondhand. I'm a big fan of that because a lot of people are going to buy these things and then realize they don't fit in their closet and then go sell them
Yeah.
on Facebook Marketplace or Poshmark or whatever. So
Yeah.
finding
And
those
just making
cheaper
sure when
options.
you're getting those that you're really looking at all of the things, making sure that it's not broken, making sure that it's not
Hmm.
out of date. Because just like car seats and things like that, there are expiration dates on a lot of these products. So really asking a lot of questions, really giving it a once over. It's kind of awkward when you buy stuff secondhand sometimes to sit there and look it over so much. And it does
Yeah.
feel weird because this person's sitting there like looking at you. It's kind of like when you buy a used car and you're like, can you just
Yeah.
not? I know you have to be in here for the test drive, but could you just not? Because you're
Don't look at
distracting me
me.
from thinking about, yeah, like I can't pay attention to all that. Stop making conversation with me and trying to distract me from the things that are wrong with this car. So it's kind
Hmm.
of like that when you're looking at these secondhand things, really focused, look at them, give it a test drive, new or used, but kind of go put your older kids in the stroller, see if your friend that has a kiddo can come, or if you're in a store and they have the car seat that you're wanting to get, see how it works with that wagon. Like a lot of, or
Yes.
stroller or whatever, a lot of these places, you can actually go play with them.
Yeah, I feel like it is getting harder to find places. Bye Bye Baby is no longer around, things like
Yeah.
that. So it can be a little bit hard, but there are places that you can go to find strollers. Even Target is starting to stock more of these things in stores. You can go and you can look at them,
Mhm.
play with them, try before you buy. Or maybe see if you have a friend who has something, the same one that you're looking for, or even just post in a mom's group and be like, hey, I'm looking at
Yes.
these strollers. Can I come play with somebody's stroller and decide if it'll fit in the back of my car?
Yes, I've seen people do that with cars. Like
Yeah.
they can't find a car that's for sale that's like the one that they want. And they're like, does anyone have this car? And if so, is there any way I could come like look at it and see the features? And can you tell me if you like it or hate it? So you can do
Yeah.
that with strollers too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think the other thing, when we're talking about building, like choosing these things is really just thinking long term because these things are expensive. The strollers are very expensive. They can be very cumbersome to buy and sell and do all of these different things with. So think about, long term how your family may grow, whether your choices can grow with you or whether the space saving option is the bigger piece of the puzzle for you right now. Just kind of thinking through what those different options are and knowing what you have available to you and being flexible with it, I think is important too.
Yeah, I love it. Anything we're missing about strollers here and wagons?
I don't think so. I don't think
Good
so.
luck,
I can tell you
guys.
guys, I'm going to be registering for a jogging stroller secondhand and a wonderful wagon secondhand because those are the things that I've found that I really, really want. And I think it'll be most beneficial for my family. So I encourage all y'all to go look and see what'll work best for you and yours.
Good luck with all those choices and sorting them out. And we hope you enjoyed this episode of this Building Your Registry series. And we will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us on Birth, baby. Thanks again to Longing for Orpheus for our music. You can look him up on Spotify. Remember to leave a review, share, and follow wherever you get your podcasts. See you next week.